Hey guys, I'm Mark with the Ovalrcteam, and today we're going to do an unboxing of the Kyosho Mini Z rear-wheel drive. This is the Toyota GT1. It's the TS020 number 2, and it's on the LM wide chassis, the MR-03. I just love the way Kyosho has this clear plastic on the front of the box, on the top, and on each side. You can see right in the box and look at the car that you're buying and see all the detail on the car. Take a look at the front of the box. You'll see a picture of the chassis, the controller. It says ready set. This is basically a ready to run car. On the side of the box, it'll show you the contents inside the box. On the other side, it'll tell you a little bit about the chassis and the electronics. On the back of the box, tells you a little bit about the chassis, the transmitter, and shows you the different options you can get for the car. Before we get started, you will need 8 AAA batteries. I'm using just regular AAA batteries inside the transmitter, and I'm using rechargeable AAA batteries inside the car. You can use regular batteries inside the car, but when they go dead, then you'll have to replace them with other AAA batteries, so I recommend getting rechargeable batteries for your car. If you do get rechargeable batteries for your car, you will need a charger. I'm using the Kyosho Mini Z Speedhouse AA AAA mini USB charger. And this is what the charger looks like out of the box. If you get the Kyosho Mini Z charger, you will need a charging block that does not come with the charger. And we'll take a closer look at the car inside the box. Guys not only race these cars, but they also collect them. And sitting on your shelf, this really looks good sitting inside the box. Now we'll take the car out of the box, open up the top of the box, slide the car out. Take a closer look at the car. To remove the car from the cardboard box, you'll need to cut the tape on each side. Then you'll need to pull the back of the cardboard box away from where the car sits. Turn the car upside down. And you'll need to undo the wire ties right here holding the car to the cardboard box. It's probably easier just to cut these ties than to try to unwrap them. Carefully lift the car up off the cardboard. If we take a look at the bottom of the car, we'll see the wire ties that are still attached to the car. And there's a sticker with a scissors on it, so you'll need to cut this plastic band in order to remove the chassis from the body. Using a pair of scissors, we'll cut that band. Then you can remove the body from the chassis, and it will snap right out just like a slot car body. You'll have to grab a hold of it very carefully, lift one side out, and then lift the other side. The front of the car is up underneath the front of the body, so carefully slide the chassis out from underneath the front of the body. Next, we can remove the plastic tie that we cut that's wrapped around the body. Next, you'll pick up the chassis, and just underneath the chassis, you'll lift up on this battery hold-down bracket. Set that to the side and do the same on the other side. Then you can remove these wire ties that are still on the chassis. Now we'll set the car aside for the time being and see what else is inside the box. Instruction booklet. transmitter. You have 2 bags of parts. Next, we'll open up the first bag. And you have several cones that you can use for a road course layout. Along with the cones, you'll have a lug wrench to remove your wheels. And you have a bind plug that you can use to connect your transmitter to your car if that ever becomes disconnected. Next, we'll open up the next bag. In the next bag of parts, you get a spare plate for the bottom of your chassis, a spare plate for the top of the chassis. You get extra wheel lug nuts, a pinion removal tool, spacers for your shocks, a tie rod for the front, a couple spare O-rings, 3 pinion gears, and different motor plates for the different pinion gears. After you have the car removed, the first thing you'll want to open up is your instruction booklet. Pull that out of the bag. And you have a parts list sheet. You have a quick start guide numbered 1 through 5 showing you how to get started. And for a small car, it sure does have a big instruction booklet. At the back of the book has exploded parts view showing you all the different parts on your car. Now we'll take a close look at the transmitter, and at the bottom of the transmitter you'll see an arrow with a door. You're going to slide that over to the side, remove that door, and you're going to install your 4 AAA batteries. If you look real close inside the transmitter, you'll see which way the batteries go. The negative side goes toward the spring. You can slide the door back into place. Now you want to charge the batteries for the car. Place the batteries inside the Kyosho charger. And we'll plug the charger into the wall. And with the batteries installed and the charger plugged in, we can see we got 4 blue blinking lights. That's showing us that the batteries are charging. While we're waiting for our batteries to charge, we can take a closer look at the car. You will see this orange piece on top of the car. That's an Easy Lap transponder that I'm using at the local track. I already installed that. That will not be on your car. If you look up on the very front of the car, underneath the plastic pieces that make up part of your suspension, you'll see 2 metal springs underneath there. You can replace those springs to give your car a different feel. On top of the car, you have a shock with a spring. You can also change out that spring. If you look underneath the chassis, you'll see a T-bracket. This makes up part of your suspension, and they make this in different types of material, and you can get this longer or shorter. Just in front of that T-bracket is an on-off switch. Push it forward to turn the car on, push it back, turn it off. And you also see slots in the chassis. It makes it easy for you to remove your batteries, especially the ones on the inside. You can stick your finger through there and help push the battery out. The chassis is made of plastic. Most of the components are made of plastic. The shock spring is metal. If you move the rear of the car up, you can see the chassis working and the shock working. And you can see that plate at the rear also flexing when you move the chassis up and down. The rear also has movement side to side, and we can see how that shock's working when it goes up and down or side to side. The car does have a rear differential. It makes it easier for your car to steer through the corners. And there's your pinion gear. You do get extra set of pinion gears with your car. And you can see our batteries are fully charged. When the lights turn solid green, That means your batteries are fully charged, and now we can install them in the car. If you look down inside the chassis, you can see which way the batteries go. You will have to apply pressure to snap them down into place. Then you will need to install the battery hold down brackets, slide them over top of the tabs, and snap them down into place. Now with the batteries in the car and the transmitter, I can show you how to operate the car. At the back of the transmitter, there's an on-off switch. Always turn your transmitter on first. Push up on the switch, that'll turn on the transmitter, and you'll see the green LED blink. Underneath the car there's a switch. Push the switch forward. That'll turn your car on, and you'll see a red LED on top of the car. Now we'll go over the controls on the transmitter. On the left hand side you have a steering dual rate knob. If you turn that knob all the way to the left and try turning the steering wheel, you'll notice you have no steering. If you turn the knob all the way to the right, now you have full steering to the right and full steering to the left. You can turn that back just a little bit, and that'll limit your steering to the left or to the right if the car seems to be acting too quick for you. I like to have the steering knob all the way to the right. I like to have full steering. Just to the right of that is a knob for LED lights. I don't have any LED lights on this car, so we won't be using this knob. On the left hand side of the steering wheel, you have a throttle trim knob. You can turn that to the left, and the wheels will start going to the rear. Turn it to the right, and the wheels will start going forward. You want to center that up so your car has neutral. Just above the steering wheel, you have your steering trim knob, and you can turn that to the left or to the right, and that will adjust the steering wheels so that way you can get your car steering straight down the straightaway. Then you have your steering wheel, and it has a nice soft piece of foam wrapped around it. Just below the steering wheel you have your throttle trigger. Pulling that trigger toward the handle will give you full throttle forward. Quickly pushing it forward will give it brake. Pushing it again will give you reverse. When you first turn your transmitter on and your car on, you'll notice that you have a green blinking LED light. It'll blink twice. That's letting you know that you're in training mode. So when you pull the trigger to go forward, you'll notice that you only have half throttle. To give yourself full throttle, turn the transmitter off, pull and hold the trigger toward the handle, turn the transmitter back on, hold the trigger for a few seconds and release. The light will blink, and the light will go to a solid green LED light. Now you have full throttle. If you'd like to go back to training mode, turn off the transmitter, push the trigger forward and hold it, turn the transmitter on, release the trigger, and the LED will blink twice green, letting you know that you're back in training mode. And we'll take a look underneath the car. We can see the body mounting tabs, black plastic piece at the back of the car. And if you look up underneath the front, you'll see where the chassis slides into first and then snaps down into place. I do have the standard chassis and the LM chassis right next to it on the right hand side, and you can see the LM is just a hair bit longer. And if you hold the two wheels together at the back, you can see the LM chassis is just a little bit wider than the standard chassis. We'll snap the chassis into place. And we'll take a look at the detail of the car. It's got mirrors on each side. They look like they're made of rubber. The windshield is tinted, has a windshield wiper, has your sponsors on the front, and looks like you could add LED lights. The body's made of plastic, the rear wing's made of plastic. You can see the rear of the car. Pipes out the back, they also are plastic. The detail on this car looks amazing. It's a great looking car. And now let's go test it out on the racetrack. Got Enzo driving the Toyota right now. Taking a few test laps. Car looks pretty good right out of the box. I didn't make any adjustments to the car. It's looking pretty good.
Pretty smooth. Real nice car, yeah.
Right out of the box, felt pretty good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we ran a couple laps for you guys. You got to see what it's like on the track, and I think I really like this car.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Get out there and get yourself a Kyosho Mini Z. They're so much fun to drive. Join my Facebook group. That's the Ovalrcteam. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll see you next time on the Ovalrcteam.